Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the World of Football YouTube channel. I'm your host, Adam Snow. Sitting next to me on the screen here is my father, the founder of the World of Football, Randy Snow, and we are here to talk about Week 12 of Arena Football 1. The season is coming to a close, and Dad, we had a few interesting games this past weekend. What'd you catch, and how you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm ready to talk some AF1 football. I only actually watched one game last week. Of
Oh,
course, I watched.
boo! You can't do
Of
a
course, I
weekly show and
watched.
only catch one
I
game.
watched my Billings Outlaws play, of course, and got a big win. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, let's get things rolling.
All right, sounds like a plan. Guys, before we jump into our recap of this week's games, we would like to remind you guys to like and comment on this channel. It always helps us out, all that sort of stuff. Um, and we like interacting with you. We've been doing a lot of other stuff on our social media as well, so go check us out on Facebook, X, and Twitter, where we also try to connect with everybody. And all those links are down in the description below. Without further ado, let's jump into this weekend's slate of games. And let's start off with the first game here, Dad, which saw the Washington Wolfpack travel up down rather, to Salina to take on the Liberty. And a final score that I didn't see coming. The Liberty took this one 71-4 in this game. Just a baffling final result there. Did you catch any of the highlights? Anything from this game? Do you have a recap? What do you think?
I do have a bit of a recap. Eh, they might have been better off staying home and taking a 1-0 forfeit or something because I think the score would
Oof.
have looked better. But anyway, the opening kickoff by Salina went off the nets and was recovered by the Liberty for a touchdown. That's how it started. It didn't get any better for the Wolfpack. But on the Wolfpack's first possession, kicker Manny Higuera converted a drop kick field goal for 4 points, and turns out that was the only points they scored in the entire game. The
That was
score was
with like 10 and a half minutes left in the first quarter.
right.
They didn't put
Yeah.
up any other points the rest of the game.
Yeah, no, their very first possession, the first time they got the ball, they managed to get a drop kick field goal out of it. The score was 37-4 at halftime. Salina returned the opening kickoff of the second half for a touchdown. Uh, Quarterback Javin Kilgo was replaced. He replaced the starting quarterback Rakeem Cato in the second half and led the team to 34 unanswered points for the 71-4 win. Each Salina quarterback threw for 3 touchdowns, and Kilgo had a rushing touchdown on top of that. Salina now is looking, they're sitting in the number 4 spot for the playoffs, at least for now.
Hold on, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about that playoff picture a little later. This this definitely cemented Salina's footing. This is obviously they needed this win.
Yes.
So they're controlling their own destiny right now, and now they have 2 crucial games coming up, back-to-back games with the Storm, who already got a playoff spot locked in. So it should be an interesting couple of weeks as they do a home and home against each other. Salina, I mean, is this more Salina being really, really good now? Or is this more of the Wolfpack somehow, some way, regressing because they only made 4 points, which is now the worst score in the league. Like, no team's ever scored that few of points, and now it belongs to the Wolfpack.
Yeah. I thought Washington was better than that. I mean, they had been playing well, but boy, you sure couldn't tell from this game.
They got guys on that team. That's what baffles me sometimes. Like, they got some great guys on the defensive line I like. They've had some quarterback issues, clearly. I don't know if coaching's an issue because, man, these guys are just getting put into some rough spots. It's hard to see. Defensively, I mean, they seem to play okay. I mean, other than letting up 71 points. But I mean, like if you look at the quarterback stats for Cato and for Kilgo,
Kilgo?
I mean, yeah, Kilgo. I mean, Cato only had 89 passing yards. Kilgo had 67. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, they both threw 3 touchdown passes. So
Yep.
it's not like they were getting a lot of production through the air. On the ground, though, I mean, wasn't much to write home about for the Liberty either. So they're just getting, blown by. They can't stop anything, and it stinks to see a team like the Wolfpack, like with a great logo, great uniforms. They just haven't been able to put the product on the field, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yep.
But what a turnaround for the Liberty. Let's not let that get lost here either. Yes, it was a big 71-4 blowout win. But Salina, they've gotten the ship turned around. They're a team to keep an eye out for. They're a team certainly that'll make some noise if they make it into the playoffs. And a news item that kind of came out also, I believe, for this game, if I'm not mistaken, that the Chiefs Super Bowl 57 trophy was in attendance at this game, so people could check out the
Oh,
Super Bowl trophy. I thought it was
I
at
did
that
not know
game.
that. I did not know
I
that.
think so. I want to say it was that game or it's for an upcoming game. I'll have the graphic on screen that I saw, but it was pretty cool that a Super Bowl trophy was going to be in attendance at the arena there. Or
Yeah.
is that in Southwest Kansas? I keep getting it mixed up.
Well,
I
they're
keep
both in Kansas, so it's hard to say.
it might be I might be getting that wrong. That might be in Southwest Kansas. I don't have it in front of me. I don't know why I thought it was associated with this. But two teams that play in Kansas. Come on now, forgive me. All right, anything else from this game before we move on?
No, you need to move on. Keep going.
Oh, I need to move on. Thanks. Okay, the second game that happened this weekend. Well, we had a doubleheader on Sunday night, and normally we end up with the Vice game talking last. But we're going to talk about the Vice game first, which saw the Billings Outlaws defeat the Oregon Lightning 58-7. Billings gets back in the win column. Oregon, I cannot make heads or tails of this team. They're good one week, they're bad the next week. Uh, and Billings is almost the same way too. Billings has been kind of Jekyll and Hyde too. They're good one week, then they're terrible another week. They can't put it together. But here we are. They keep their playoff hopes alive. Oregon still technically in the playoff hunt as well, but this performance really made me think that not that they're not viable. They still got 2 games left to turn it around. Anything can happen, but it definitely knocked them down a couple pegs for me. Once I was like buying into them, like, okay, I thought they were kind of doing this. Then they kind of started trending up, and now they're back down.
Yeah, here's my takeaway from the game. Darius Prince opened the scoring for Billings with a touchdown catch midway through the first quarter for a 7-0 lead. The Outlaws led 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, and Billings was up 29-7 at halftime. You could tell right there who the better team was in the first half. Then in the third quarter, Billings quarterback Malik Henry was ejected from the game for taking a swing at a defender and pulling his helmet off while trying to score on a short yardage play. Um, Billings did score on the very next play and took a 36-7 lead. Billings led 45-7 at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, Billings defensive back Dwayne Hollis intercepted a pass and returned it for a touchdown for the 58-7 win, and that was his second pick six of the game for Dwayne Hollis. Yeah, I I watched the replay of Malik Henry, and I didn't really see him take a swing. You know, he kind of like shoved the guy with his arm. The official, not the officials, but the announcers were saying that he took a swing at him. Um, it was a big shoving match, but yeah, he did rip the defender's head off, and he got down to the one, didn't score, and on the next play they scored anyway. So um, they they weren't hurt by Malik Henry being ejected from the game. They were just fine the rest of the game.
Yeah, and a big game for Darius Prince. 5 catches, 73 yards,
Yep.
3 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah,
So Darius Prince,
two of those touchdowns were over the board highlights again.
he's been very impressive to me. And this is a discussion we're going to have to maybe think about here in a couple weeks as we get closer to the end of the year. Does Darius Prince now start creeping his way back up into some most valuable player talk?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying he's there quite yet. I mean, he'll always be one of the best receivers. Don't get me wrong. This season, though, it's kind of been quiet. Last couple weeks, though, Darius Prince highlights, and then he's putting up the numbers. So we might have to start considering Darius Prince here, guys, before you get your ballots in. Just saying.
Yeah.
But look, for Billings, it was great, to see them kind of turn things around. Our friend Steve Titus knows how I feel about his Detroit Lions jersey. Sorry, his gunmetal gray Billings Outlaws jerseys. They worked. They got him the win. So hey, do what you got to do, Steve. But
Yep.
for, just a shellacking. A little disappointed in Oregon. I just when I was starting to buy into them, like maybe they are better than I gave them credit for. They pooped the bed, and it's unfortunate because I was really I just wanted a great game. Didn't get it. It
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
one-sided affair. Um, One news item I want to tackle here while we're talking about the Outlaws, as you might have noticed, the logo on the screen, guys, slightly different. If you heard the rumblings around the internet, the Outlaws did kind of in the middle of the night change their logo. It's not a big drastic change, but it's a interesting change nonetheless, as they go from the logo saying Billings Outlaws to Outlaws Football. I mean, you remember a few weeks back we talked about Steven Titus. Unhappy with the situation there in Billings. Several reasons
Yep.
he listed out.
Yep.
Won't go back into it, but it is if there was ever a sign that we're probably trending in that direction to the team potentially leaving, it's not set in stone. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
what an interesting development that is. Middle
Yeah.
of the season, you changed your logo.
Yeah. I don't know of too many people that have pointed that out, and you did. You saw that right away. I mean, you were telling me right that next morning. Oh my gosh, look what happened! And I might not have even noticed it myself, but yeah, you were right on top of that.
It was a subtle change. It's not a big
Sure.
noticeable change. It's not like it was a color scheme. It
Right.
really is
Right.
just changing the text around the outside of the logo.
Yep.
I mean, and who knows? Maybe it means nothing. Maybe we're just blowing it up into something. It could just be a slight little tweak of the branding. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It'll
The
just be something that
timing
we're all
is
going to be.
the
The
timing is
timing,
just a little
though,
ironic. Yeah.
it's okay. Hey, it's a business. It'll if something does happen, it stinks for the Billings fans. But right now, we're still in the season. You still got your Billings shirt. You're still a Billings fan.
Yep.
So,
Yep. But I'd love to have a Grand Rapids Outlaws
oh
T-shirt
well, you know
anytime.
what ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Knock it off.
I
Don't
know.
even.
I know. I know.
Don't put that kind of pressure on Steve and Titus there. All right. So, anything else from this game before we move on?
No,
Okay.
no. You wanted to see a good game. Well, that's the next game we're going to talk about.
That is the next game we'll talk about. But first, we'd like to remind you guys that we do a weekly podcast here at the World of Football called This Week in the World of Football, where, guess what? Every week we talk about news and scores from all around, you guessed it, the world of football. Dad, what are some of the stories we're going to be tackling on episode 396 of our podcast?
Yeah, well, you just brought this to my attention. Travis and Jason Kelsey have bought the goats, so you got to tune into our podcast to find out what we're talking about there. Bills quarterback Josh Allen got married over the weekend, and the playoffs are set in the National Arena League. So those are three of the stories we're going to be talking about this week.
Yep, that's right. So go tune into that, guys. Find that wherever good podcasts are available or right here on our YouTube channel. And then speaking of our podcast, guys, we're going to throw it out there. In 4 weeks, we will be doing our first ever live stream. That's right, for our 400th episode of our podcast. The two of us and some special guests that we will officially announce later, but you could probably guess who some of them are going to do. We're going to do a live stream. We're going to have a guest periodically on there to talk about different stuff happening in the world of football. Should be a fun time, a great evening. Tune in July 1st. That's a Tuesday night, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Be there, be square. We're going to have a lot of stuff, and we will also have a contest for those of you who tune into the live stream. So be sure to check that out July 1st again on YouTube, and we're going to try to stream it on all our social media platforms too. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
All right. Now, with those pleasantries out of the way, let's talk about what ended up being, surprise, surprise, the game of the week.
Yeah.
As the Nashville Cats held off a resurgent Corpus Christi Tritons team 44-39. And at the end of the day, should the Tritons have gotten the win? For those of you who checked this game out, you'll know that the Tritons showed up. Give them credit.
Yes, they
They
did.
showed up. This is not the team
Yes.
that was dead on arrival that we thought. as I called them on my X account. I called them the corpses Christie Tritons, because they were dead in the water. Nobody gave them a shot. Nobody thought they'd even hang with the Cats, and here they were giving the Cats a run for their money. If it weren't for a touchdown that got called, that should have been called a fumble at the 1 yard line, I believe. Like the player, why this always happens, I don't know why. The guy's celebrating too soon. He drops the ball at the goal line, but the rest still called it a touchdown. They didn't even bother reviewing it. It should have been Corpus Christi ball. Could have been a whole different ball game and outcome, but Corpus Christi, the credit where credit is due, they put up a fight against
Yes,
those
they did.
Cats.
Yes, they did.
So
Yeah, Corpus Christi actually scored first, and they were ahead 6-0 in the first quarter. The score was tied 12-12 at the end of the first. Nashville did, however, go on to take the lead 26-19 at halftime, and the Cats led 38-25. Um, uh, well, I can't even read my own writing, but it was in the
don't you
fourth.
type it up?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but can't make out my own writing. But anyway, at 28-35 in the third quarter, um, uh, Corpus Christi regained the lead 39-38 with 9 minutes to play. Nashville was back in the lead at 44-39 with 1 minute to go at the 1 minute warning. And it took an interception by Nashville with 19 seconds left in the game to preserve the win for them. They were able to make some yardage on a couple of plays and ran out the clock and made Corpus Christi use up their timeout. So yeah, they were backed up in their own end zone. So it was not a foregone conclusion that they were going to be able to run out the clock, but they did. And Corpus Christi is now on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, they put up, like I said, they put up a fight, and at the end of that game, they were just it was penalties galore. I was just like, why are we having so many penalties? It was always something. It was the Cats got an interception, then it got called back because of an illegal defense that kept the Corpus Christi drive alive, and there were other instances where there was just flag and flag and flag. It was just dragging the end of this game out. But at the end of it, a real crucial interception by Corpus Christi, caught by the Cats, sealed this one up. Cats caught out of there by the skin of their teeth to hold on to a record. They should.
Yeah.
I mean, all else they should be able to end the season pretty much above 500. I think they're 5-4 now. If I was looking at the standings right. They're 5-3. So even if they lose out, they should be above 500 to end the season. So, Cats, I won't call them a lock just yet because anything can happen.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, the Cats made a case to stay in the playoffs. But how about Corpus Christi just still clinging on for playoff life this week?
Yeah. Yeah. They found a way to win. You got to credit their defense. But yeah, it was tough. Tough win.
Tyler Kulka, another great performance by him. He threw 5 touchdowns in this game for 196 yards. Even Fred Payton Jr. for the Tritons, 11-28. He threw it for 190 yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns, but again, that back-breaking interception there at the end of the game kind of sealed things up. Doesn't help you out.
Yeah.
So Hulkamania is real. The Cats' playoff chances are just that much greater now that they got that much-needed win.
Yep.
They got a tough game next week against Billings, which we'll preview here in a second. But watch out for the Cats, everybody. But now, if you're on Corpus Christi's schedule, and as I pop open their schedule real quick, they go to Oregon and to Nashville. So they're going to play these Cats again. And if they play like that, they might win both of those games. Like, if they play their cards right, so don't count them out yet. This corpse is back from the dead.
Well, they may not make the playoffs, but they could play spoiler for those last 2 games.
They could make it very interesting. So I'm very curious now. Corpus Christi, we saw slight improvements ever since the whole mass exodus at the beginning of the season. So that whole team gone. Then we got this replacement team, which has been ever since that time, the 112-point game against the Firebirds. Ever since then, they've been putting this team back together, and they have steadily improved. I just wasn't there to say like they're going to beat any of these teams. But after what they did to Nashville, we might have to keep an eye out for the Tritons now.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
All right, and with that being said, let's look at the standings in the AF1. On bye this past week, we're the Firebirds and the Storm, so they're the top two teams in the league. The Firebirds
Yeah.
at 9-0, the Storms at 7-3. Then you got the Nashville Cats now holding on to that number 3 spot at 5-3, and the Salina Liberty climb up to that 4th spot at 4-5. Then you have your 5th spot, which is going to go to the Billings Outlaws at 4-6. The Corpus Christi Tritons slide down to the 6th spot at 3-5. The Oregon Lightning at 4-7, sitting at 7, and the Washington Wolfpack at 2-9. And remember, they're seeding by the playoff percentage. So that is why a team like the Lightning with 4 wins is below a team like Corpus Christi with 3 wins. So I just want to point that out. All right, and then how about we look at ahead at next week's games real fast? We got 3 games on the docket for Week 13. And it's going to start off on Saturday night. It's going to see the Salina Liberty traveling to Southwest Kansas to take on the Storm, where I actually think that's where the Super Bowl trophy is supposed to be on display for people. So Saturday, June 7th, check that game out. I believe that's the Evergreen Now game. So that should be a good game.
No, the Sunday night game is the Vice game.
Okay, well then we'll get to that one. Oh. So the Liberty Storm, Evergreen Now, Saturday night. Then on Sunday, the Corpus Christi Tritons will travel to Oregon to take on the Lightning, which now this game is all sorts of interesting to me now because who's going to be good? The Tritons have been bad for a few weeks. The Lightning are up and down. What's going to happen? I don't know. Yeah. But this one might actually be one to check out and see who comes out on top. Because if Oregon wants to stay in the playoff hunt, they need a win. If Corpus Christi wants to stay in the hunt, they need a win. So for all intents and purposes, this could be the game of the weekend. Yeah, but let's face it, the game of the weekend. And you said that's the Vice game, the Sunday game?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So who knows? Maybe we'll end up lucking out and getting an actual good game on Vice for a change. Nice competitive game. Yeah. And then now we have a Monday night game this week as the Nashville Cats will travel to Billings to take on the Outlaws. This actually should be a fascinating game to watch because I don't know which Billings team's going to show up. I really don't. I don't know what Nashville team's going to show up. So if Bill, this is a must win for Billings. I think Nashville, even if they lose this, they'll still be in the playoffs, at least in that picture for now.
Right.
So the pressure is going to be on Billings.
Yeah.
And I don't know who comes out on top of this one.
Yeah. On paper, this should be a really, really good game.
It should,
and I hope it is. I hope both teams come, with guns blazing, and of course I'll be rooting for the Outlaws, but I do expect this to be a really good game.
Yeah, we'll see. We didn't plan on that when we chose what we're wearing today. Dad with his Billings shirt, and I got my Cats hat. Didn't plan that, but look, I want obviously every week I say this. I want all the games to be good. The likelihood of the best game being the Salina Liberty Southwest Kansas Storm game is probably the greatest chance of being the best game of the weekend. But I feel like every time I declare that, it shifts and something happens. So we shall see. Because if I remember correctly, the last time the Storm and Liberty got together, it was back when the Storm beat the Liberty 22-20. You remember that barn burner game where nobody could do anything? Back in week 5 when these teams were both trying to figure each other out. So I think these are 2 very different teams now and 2 very much improved teams, to say the least. So we should be getting a fireworks show in this one.
Yep.
Okay. And that's it for the standings, Dad. And we got a little bit of time left here. So I figured I wanted to do a little fun topic before we ended the show this week. And, we're still waiting on the news of whatever this title game is going to be called for the AF1. No formal announcement has been made. No unveiling of the trophy has been made. But I'm sure as soon as we put this video up, it'll get put out there. But until then, Commissioner Fisher, Mr. Jerry Kerr, Stephen Titus, and all those who care at the AF1 Executive Board, we here at the World of Football are about to pitch you some championship title ideas with some visuals. There will be some visuals. I'm going to let you all know that right now. We're going to start with Dad. Dad, let's get one of your suggestions.
Oh, okay. Well, My first idea is call it the Jim Foster Bowl, named after the man
Oh,
who created arena football, the Jim Foster Bowl. He deserves it.
interesting, interesting. I don't know if they'll go that route. I think that's more
Probably,
of,
probably not.
name a trophy after him. I mean, I'm okay with if they just call it the basic AF1 championship, and then every year it's just I don't know if you give it a number or if you just call it the year, the 2025 AF1 championship, and
Yeah.
easy peasy lemon squeezy. That seems like the easiest way to go about that.
Okay.
But I got a fun one, Randy. I want to throw your way, and let me know what you think about this one. Uh,
Okay.
just a slight tweak. Let's have fun with this one for the Arena Football Wondrous Championship. A little play on AF1 because it's going to be a wondrous game, huh? Huh? See what I did there?
I did, and it should stay there. Not a fan of that one, but keep
Oh,
trying, son.
okay. Okay, I'll think of some more. What other ones do you got?
Well, another one I had was the Jerry Kerr's Cup, and you spell cup with a K. You know, had the Arena
I
Cup before, and
woof. I don't. I again. That makes for a great trophy design. Not so much a championship game name.
put
Um,
a little beard on the trophy.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Um, so this is where This is where I feel like the AF1 has an opportunity, Dad, to create some synergy with the pop culture zeitgeist out there. Um, I'm not sure if you're familiar with a TV series, a manga that turned into an anime. It's like the longest running anime of all time. It's a show on Netflix now called One Piece. Have you heard of it?
No, never heard
Okay,
of it.
well, I present to you um, the AF1 piece of the championship game.
Uh, I, I can smell that one from here. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, hold on. What about? Have you ever heard of the movie Highlander?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yes.
Are you familiar with the slogan of that movie?
No.
All right, well then I propose to you all the there can only there can only be AF1 championship game because there can only be one Highlander. Come on.
They're getting worse, son. I think you've already given your best
Then I
ones.
know
I don't think you do
then
have
I
to do
really
that.
know you'll love this one, Dad. For Have you ever seen the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well then I propose to you um the Arena Football One Flew Over the Firebird's Nest championship game. There, I knew you'd like that one.
One flew over the Firebirds. Um, it's a little better, but it's not there yet.
Are you familiar with pop sensation One Direction? You might see a pattern here.
I've heard of them. Couldn't tell you who anybody in the band is.
The Arena Football One Direction Championship game. You get the guys to come out and play a concert together.
Oh, okay.
They'll look like they have a fun time.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Let's see. I got a few of these in the can.
Oh, jeez.
Are you a fan of the Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
All right. How about uh the uh AF1 championship to rule them all?
Okay, that one's not too bad. A
See,
little long.
it's right
You're
there.
gonna need a bigger trophy to get all that on there. But
There you
I
go. Just think of those rings.
yeah yeah. Everybody gets a ring, and the coach's
All right.
ring rules them all.
And here's my last eye roller just for
Okay.
you, Dad.
Okay.
You're a big fan of watching, sappy teen dramas on the CW network when they were on. I present to you. Do you remember the show One Tree Hill?
I've heard of it. Never saw it.
The complete first season on Blu-ray, everybody. The AF1 Championship Hill.
No.
Oh no,
No.
you don't like that one?
No.
No, I
I've
tried.
got a couple more here I can tell to you. Uh,
Oh, okay. Well, what do you
uh,
got?
my next to the last one is the Big One Bowl because it's AF1. The Big One Bowl.
I actually don't hate that.
Okay, then you're gonna love this next one. My last one here is kind of an homage to the old XFL, and this was a name they were going to use but they didn't use. So I'm calling it the Big Game at the End of the Arena Bowl.
Well, they probably can't even string arena and bowl next to each other.
True. Just call it the Big Game at the End of the Arena.
Look, I don't know what they're gonna come up with. I mean, I just figured it'd be fun to hear what some of your ideas were.
If
I
if
thought you
they
had
pick
more.
any of if they pick any of these, we want to cut.
Do we? I just want to be invited to the game.
Okay, and a couple of hot dogs and a couple of sodas.
They know how to buy us. They know. They're aware. All right, guys, that's it for this week's show. Thanks for sticking around if you made it through those terrible ideas I had. We thank you so much for watching, checking us out again. All the links to our social medias down in the description below. Like, subscribe, all that junk. Dad, anything else before we send it on home?
No, the AF1 season is quickly coming to an end, so enjoy it while you can because the playoffs are right around the corner.
That they are. So stay tuned to this channel for more AF1 recaps and other football goodness as the arena indoor spring football seasons march forward. We'll see you guys next time on the World of Football.